What's up, everybody? Have you noticed that your rent is going up again this year? Well, what if I told you it's not just inflation or demand that's driving up those hikes? The U.S. Department of Justice is accusing 6 major landlords of colluding to keep rents artificially high using algorithms and secretive data sharing. This is big and could impact renters across the country. So let's break it all down. Hi, I'm Caryn Gardiner, and I'm here to make sense of the housing market and its impact on you. Today, we're diving into a lawsuit that could reshape how rents are calculated in the United States. If you're a renter, or if you're just someone that's sick of prices skyrocketing, stick around, because this one, it's important. So let's dive right in. Okay, here's what's happening. The Justice Department, along with 10 states, is accusing 6 major landlords of conspiring to manipulate rental prices. This lawsuit arrives as U.S. renters continue to struggle in this brutal housing market, with incomes failing to keep up with rent increases. The latest figures show that half of American renters spent more than 30% of their income on rent and utilities in 2022, an all-time high. These companies are Greystar Real Estate Partners, Blackstone's LiveCore, Willowbridge Property Company, Camden Property Trust, Cushman & Wakefield and Pinnacle Property Management Services, and Cortland Management. Together, they own or manage over 1.3 million rental units nationwide. Mr. Code HBR01 wrote on Reddit, Greystar Apartments increased my rent from $950 to $1,500 to $2,500. Every time I move, it's always Greystar. They are a monopoly. They charged me $2,500 for repairs when I moved out, and my apartment looked better than when I moved in. We are always forced to move because of my rent going up, and every time after our first year's lease, it always goes up 50% with these. We try to avoid them, but they literally own so many under different names. At the center of the case is a company called RealPage, which provides software for pricing rental units. RealPage markets its tools as a way to optimize rents, but the DOJ alleges that the landlords use the software to share sensitive data and align their pricing strategies. Just think about that. Instead of competing for your business by lowering the rents, they're accused of working together to keep them high. That's not just unfair, it's illegal under antitrust laws. While Americans across the country struggle to afford housing, the landlords named in today's lawsuit shared sensitive information about rental prices and used algorithms to coordinate to keep the price of rent high, said Acting Assistant Attorney General Doha Mekki of the Justice Department's Antitrust Division. Today's action against RealPage and 6 major landlords seeks to end their practice of putting profits over people and make housing more affordable for millions of people across the country. Now let's talk about how these algorithms work. RealPage software takes in tons of data, like market trends, demand levels, and the rents being charged by nearby properties, and then spits out what it calls the optimal price for each unit. Sounds like cutting-edge technology, right? But here's where it gets controversial. According to the Justice Department, these landlords didn't just use RealPage's algorithm as a tool, they actively collaborated to manipulate rents. The amended complaint alleges that these companies not only relied on the software's recommendations, but also shared sensitive information through several coordinated methods. For example, senior management at companies like Greystar and Camden communicated directly, sharing details about renewal rates, occupancy, and even their plans for price increases in upcoming quarters. This isn't just casual industry chatter. It's sharing competitively sensitive information. They also engage in what they call market surveys, where property managers would call or email their competitors to swap details about rents and pricing strategies and discounts. The DOJ claims that these weren't just informal chats, but calculated exchanges to keep prices aligned. And then there were the RealPage hosted user groups. These sessions brought landlords together to discuss how to tweak the software's pricing algorithms and share strategies for setting rents. For instance, LiveCore and Willowbridge executives allegedly used these groups to talk about renewal increases and concessions. In one particularly striking example, Willowbridge's Director of Revenue Management asked Greystar for its auto-accept parameters in the RealPage software, which essentially control how frequently and under what conditions rents are automatically adjusted. Greystar handed over that information, further aligning their strategies. This isn't just about using a tool, it's about, allegedly, turning that tool into a mechanism for collusion. When landlords know exactly what their competitors are charging and adjust their price in lockstep, it's no surprise that rents are soaring. Just imagine if grocery stores in your town all use the same software to set the price of milk. Instead of competing, they'd all charge the same amount and you'd have no choice but to pay it. That's essentially what the DOJ says happened here, but on a much larger scale and with something far more critical than milk: housing. So what does this mean for you? Well, if these allegations are true, then renters are footing the bill. Take Sarah, a teacher in Austin, Texas. Her rent went up 20% last year, not because her landlord needed to cover rising costs, but because the market dictated that everyone else was doing the same. The lack of competition forces renters like Sarah to make tough choices. Pay more, move farther away, or downgrade their living situation. Nationally, nearly half of renters spend more than 30% of their income on housing, a level that experts call unsustainable. And the worst part, this doesn't just hurt renters. It drags down entire communities. Businesses struggle to attract workers. Families face instability. And homelessness rates, well, they climb. High rents are everyone's problem. From a legal standpoint, this case hinges on antitrust laws, which are designed to protect consumers from exactly this type of behavior. If these landlords are found guilty, they could face massive fines, be forced to change their practices, and even see restrictions placed on how they use this pricing software. But let's talk ethics. Housing isn't just another product. It is a basic human need. When landlords prioritize profit margins over people, it raises a critical question. Should technology be allowed to control such a fundamental part of our lives? And where do we draw the line between innovation and exploitation? The landlord Greystar Real Estate Partners, LLC, a defendant in this case, declined a request for comment from the Associated Press, but published an unsigned statement on its website. Greystar has and will conduct its business with the utmost integrity. At no time did Greystar engage in any anti-competitive practices, the statement read. We will vigorously defend ourselves in this lawsuit. Jennifer Bocock, RealPage's Senior Vice President for Communications, said in a statement to the Associated Press that their software is used on fewer than 10% of rental units in the United States, and that their price recommendations are used less than half the time. It is past time to stop scapegoating RealPage and now our customers for housing affordability problems when the root cause of high housing costs is the undersupply of housing, Bocock said. So what's next? The lawsuit is still in its early stages, but the stakes, they couldn't be higher. A win for the DOJ could mean more transparency in rental pricing and stricter regulations on how landlords use technology. For renters, the takeaway is clear. Stay informed, know your rights, and push for policies that protect tenants. Co-plaintiffs in the case are the Attorney Generals for California, Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, Massachusetts, Minnesota, North Carolina, Oregon, Tennessee, and Washington. Imagine if landlords had to disclose how rents are calculated or justify rate hikes. Imagine algorithms designed to benefit tenants, not just the landlords. This lawsuit could be a first step towards a more balanced housing market. If you are experiencing any of these rental rate hikes anywhere in the country, put it in the comments. Tell us about what's happening in your experience, because I think it's important that we all know what's going on. And if you want to know more about the lawsuit, I'm going to put the link in the description. If you're interested in what's happening for home prices in 2025 this year and 2026, check out this next video. It's where all the experts give their predictions. I think you're going to like it. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Bye.